Any update on Evan? Is he still set?
So Evan just saw the doctor again today, and he's set to do light non-contact shooting tomorrow with a chance that he'd play on Friday.
How does things change? He's been such an important part of the team on Tuesday. How do things change?
Well, I think he's been a really important part. And the biggest thing that Evan brings to the table, other than just another good player, is that he can handle the ball. So it gives you a guy that can initiate offense with Isaiah in the game, or a guy that can play off of it. And the way he's shooting it in the last month or so, and the way he's played all year has been, really important for our team. So, we'll have to have other people step up, as we have, in Jay's absence and Kelly's absence and Jonas's absence all the way through the last month and a half.
Will you have to wear goggles when he comes back?
To be determined. I don't know the answer to that. I think it's one of those situations where, they'll reassess on Friday and figure that out.
Isaiah's having obviously a great season. There's some talk possibly all NBA. Just your thoughts on him being one of the an all NBA type selection this year.
Well, I think as you look at the all NBA, you're looking for 15 guys that most impact their team's success. It's hard to argue them.
Sort of along those lines, what about Avery?
Yeah, I think all those guys are really worthy of that, and I think you could throw Avery into a couple of different categories, but certainly all defensive team is something that nobody knows better than the players, Mark. And I think that there's obviously been some players that have said that, but I think that Avery, if you pulled the players, he would be on that team for sure. And I think that's I don't know if they get a vote in that or not. They probably should. Because they're the ones out there having to play against guys.
Any concern on your part about Isaiah and the technicals? He's got 13 right now.
He's number 16?
16, yeah.
Obviously, you don't want to get close to 16.
Well, how can a trip like the one you just took help the team at this time of the year to go out there and be as successful as you were and come back down the stretch?
I don't really look at it as a trip. I don't look at it as a collection of games or really even evaluate where games are played. It's just a matter of how are we playing. And there are challenges that go into playing well every night. Some of those are who you have available. Some of those are who you're playing against and the matchups that they give you, matchup issues they give you. But our focus has to be on us playing well. And I'm pleased in a lot of ways with how we played. We still can get a lot, hopefully at least shore up some things, I guess. But even in the Portland game, which is the worst result of the last three, I felt like we did a lot of really good things. In the Lakers game, I felt like we had a stretch where we were bad, and so I'm a lot more focused on how we're playing minute to minute right now than anything else.
Coach, with needing guys to step up, how have you seen kind of Smart and Terry Rozier complement each other?
Well, that's the best way to put that, because I think that Smart is going to be an impactful player. We knew that from day one. And then Terry, with being a young guy, you don't know how he's going to be able to impact you eventually, especially with all the guard depth we have on this team. But I think the way that they've played together, certainly helped us win the game the other day. I thought that lineup, which had never, I did go back, I don't think it had played a minute together. Terry, Marcus, Jay, Amir, and Tyler just gave us great energy and great lift, and we made some plays that were just guys playing really hard with great athleticism in and around the ball, and both Terry and Marcus can do that. They're going to make a play or two when they're on the court that just kind of bail you out of a bad possession, and that's helpful.
Even given the fact that he had been struggling a little bit shooting, was it surprising at all to you to see Marcus, hit some of those big shots over the road trip?
No, I think the biggest thing about he's gonna have his moments and his stretches like anybody else, but when a prideful guy feels challenged, that's probably a good thing, and so like I watched him kind of shoot around once we got to Phoenix, and as we were getting ready for the Phoenix game, it was like, I think he's going to play pretty well. And he didn't make a three that game, but he probably made the biggest plays. And, I just think that he's prideful. He'll figure that stuff out, but he'll make big ones. And he always makes winning plays, and he's an important part of our team.
You guys have been missing a key player basically since the All-Star break, at least one every game. Is there some part of you that's a little worried about maybe not having all the guys back for too many games before the playoffs, or is that kind of overrated getting slow and stuff like that?
Don't worry about the things we can't control. You know, like it is what it is. Well, I think you can also look at the positive of other guys are getting opportunities, other guys are being stretched in good ways. You know, having to do more, having to guard a different position, having to, you know, run a different action or run a part of a different action. So I think it's more of a positive that more guys are playing than it is a negative that, you know, a guy's not available for a stretch of time.
Coach, New Orleans has so many injuries. How would they be able to stay as competitive as they are?
Yeah, they've, you know, I think that this is a great example, and I think last night was a little bit of an anomaly with how they'd been playing lately because they had won 3 out of 4, and, you know, their only loss was to San Antonio by 8. I just think a great example of, you know, really good coaching and a bunch of guys that are really excited to get an opportunity and play well, and they're big and strong, and, you know, even the guys that have been playing a lot this year, the Aginsas, Ashik Cunningham, those guys are all raising a little bit right now because more is being asked of them, and they're probably excited about that. And I think that shows in a lot of teams right now when guys get opportunities. But, you know, obviously they've got a lot of guys doing a lot of good things.
What have you seen of Kendrick Perkins on video?
I mean, Kendrick's been Kendrick. He's always been kind of a glue defender and a guy that can anchor the defense and do so both with his actions. But I mean, can't hear him on tape, but I can see him talking, and I can see people responding to him, and the way that he can direct from behind the defense is pretty impressive. And then offensively, he does what he does. He rolls, he gets the ball in and around the rim, and he finishes and rebounds. I mean, that's who he is. He impacts winning and has for a long time.